going to be talking about taxation. I recommended that you attend, and he indicated that he had a bad experience with you previously, and I shared with him that I will show up. I'll be bringing the future congressman, and we'll both behave ourselves, and we're going to talk about taxes with Alan in the Brain Trust.
Great. He's very, very sensitive about vaccines, and I promise you, I won't bring up vaccines once. Strictly taxation.
Maybe what we can do is participate in the conversation, and if you're feeling ornery towards the end, maybe take a parting shot.
Hey, Mojo, were you a little upset that Brent left? I think you were.
Brent? Nah, he'll be back.
You'll get him next time, right?
Brent is one of those interesting people. I've never seen someone. You'd have to go to boxing, like when Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti, they'd have these wars, right? But at least those guys had some wins on their record. Imagine a guy that takes a pummeling like that, but has never landed a punch and never won a fight. That's Brent. And so there's something about his resilience that I actually admire, if I'm being honest.
No, but there was Astro. Which one would you think is more resilient, Astro or Brent?
Well, Brent's got just a lot longer tenure here. So Brent's been doing this for years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm kind of new to this. But Astro, he had a little fight that week. You had to send him to the goo quite a few times.
Yeah, well, I tend to send people to goo if they don't shut the fuck up. You can disagree with me. You can tell me that you think my idea is stupid, all that kind of jazz. I'll probably have a response for it, but I'll let you get your licks in. The one thing that I do allow is for people to get their punches in. It's not my fault that he doesn't land them.
No, but you were giving him. You were you were giving it to him, and he just hung in there, and he stayed in there with you. I think you got to invite him back, Mojo.
Hey, Dr. Mojo, I'd like to ask you a question.
Go for it.
This is in regards to the title of the room. How can we end terrorism? Do you think that all the terrorism we have seen in the past 25 years has been authentic? Or do you think that perhaps the CIA and others in the U.S. government faked terrorism?
I don't think they faked terrorism, but I think it's one of those things similar to having awareness of the Pearl Harbor attack in 1941. I don't know how you classify it, but if you know that something's happening and you allow it to happen because it creates a good narrative for you, it's not exactly that you did it or that you orchestrated it even, but there is some guilt associated with allowing these things to take place.
Well, I'm only asking because our glorious president, Donald Trump, has clearly identified that fake news is real and that MSNBC, CNN, and all the others just spam us with clickbait titles, which is all just a bunch of fluff. So I'm just wondering, and with the NDAA being at $1 trillion a year, is $1 trillion a year still needed to fight the war on terror?
As far as the expenditures that we have, if we were legitimately looking for terrorists with the intent of taking them off the playing field, I would support that. In fact, I would trade all the Social Security dollars. I would trade all of the Medicare dollars. I'd trade a lot of dollars to be able to do that. The problem that I see is that we can know that these guys are in play. What's up with when we hear that the CIA is tracking a terrorist cell and then we're listening because we're looking at why not just we spot them, we take them out. I think we need a much more zero tolerance policy on this stuff. If we can identify them and we know that then just remove them from the field of battle.
Well, let me ask a follow-up. If we were to slash the NDAA by 300 billion a year and bring that annual expenditure down to a mere 700 billion a year, and we were to look at the priorities in the military in terms of lethal force that are used to defend the freedom and the security of this country, would you imagine that $300 billion worth of a jobs program, as they usually call it in a lot of federal agencies, when you ask questions, they say, oh, that's a jobs program. So I'm just wondering, do you think that possibly at $1 trillion a year, we can identify $300 billion worth of a jobs program that is used to defend the security and freedom of this country?
Let me answer that for a second. Do you know, when I found out that the Iranian nuclear strike was in the process for over 20 years, they were devising how they were going to do something that couldn't be done. Do you know how much money that costs? And you know how you have to set aside money to do it? And that's just one project. Who knows what they have going? That costs money. You could throw around, you could say 200 billion to go for jobs. You could say that. But this is an expensive planet we live on. And terrorism is an expensive fight that must be fought. And I'm sure they spend 20 years, I don't know how many billions, to knock out Iranian's nuclear weapons. So, you throw money, you could spend out any amount you want. You got to itemize, you got to look at school, show me the income, show me the expenses, show me
endorsed any whistleblower statements about egregious spending or activity against citizens of this country?
Without the citizens. Look, no one was out to get citizens. Matter of fact, the first year or so, I was in office boy where you got people making $7,000 back then, and their household expenses was $15,000. So, I had leniency on them. I had leniency on people who were driving cabs, and they report all their tips like, people don't do. But my leniency changed as it grew up the line, and for most of my career, I was an international examiner in the financial service area, where big dollars.
Yeah, I mean, real helpers. I mean, I know how short I've been reading that non-emergency for a while.
That's right. I really enjoyed my job. We're not out to, the IRS wasn't out to get the little person. The IRS was to make sure that the laws that the rich people made was followed, and usually it wasn't. Okay, so I want to jump in real quick. The reason you were asked that was tying it back to the title. John is just bringing up the point that sometimes the U.S. does things that we spend money and don't solve problems as they pertain to terrorism. In fact, he's alluding to the possibility that maybe we might even like some of the terrorism that takes place because it creates a need for budgets to be spent and a jobs program, quote unquote. So let's get back to the title of the room. How can we end terrorism? Well, you're talking about the military industrial complex. Yeah, well, that's one thing. I want to just holistically think about how can we solve this problem. Can we agree that we have a terrorism problem globally? Yes. So what are we going to do to fucking solve it? I have some ideas. I think you just hold on. If I share my thought, you guys will think I'm crazy. I might even get clipped. So I want to hear your thoughts.
Save it to the end.
I think that, speaking of this, particularly in the issues with the option B, which is outlined in Muslim immigration. The reason I say that is because of the fact that it disassociates us with countries that are majority Muslim and could be increased chances of ending Islamic terrorism.
Moderators, put me in the queue, please.
Okay, you're in the queue. You're right behind the next person that might want to speak. Okay, let's go.
Jules, were you going to say something?
Well, honestly, you can't do it on this sheet. That's number one. You can't. Terrorism is something they want you to spend a lot of money to fight them. It's a whack-a-mole. They come popping up all over the place. So, Roger, you can't do it on this sheet. But how about this? Here's a thought. I'm going to throw a fucking thought at you, okay? Okay? You ready? We give, instead of the $1 trillion that we spend half that giving it to Israel, okay? And again, I feel about foreign aid, so bear with me on this thought. We give the money to Israel, we tell them to gather all the intel, and then they're going to train the troops. We're going to build an army, and the army is going to be built off of the people that we detain that have entered this country illegally. And then what we do is we tell them, look, we're going to ship you over to Iran. You're going to do a land war with Iran. You're going to go ahead and defeat the IRGC, and once the victory is completed, you will have U.S. citizenship. What do you think? No good. You hate Mexicans that much?
Wait, who gets the citizenship?
The Mexicans get the citizenship. We detain all of the illegal aliens, and then we put them aboard a Navy ship. We train them for war. We send them over to Iran, and Israel will do all the intelligence gathering, the war planning, and then the troops on the ground would be U.S. citizens that'll go and fight the war. They'll be from places like Panama and Nicaragua and Mexico and places like that.
Well, I think you're describing the Bay of Pigs invasion almost to the T.
Yeah, but this is the Bay of the other pigs.
It's like send some pigs to the other pigs' bay, like transatlantic pig sending.
Our big problem is fighting terrorism. Number one, isn't cheap. And number two, maybe even more important, it is not so constitutional, if you know what I mean. We have to break some eggs, to make the omelet. And that's probably a bigger problem than the money. We could think of
it. Especially with the cost of eggs these days, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. Because it goes up all the time, yes.
Can I just say
So
that
we got a big problem.
borrowing and spending more to fight terrorism with the ridiculous hope to think that you can actually end it would be the dumbest thing we as Americans can do. If we don't reprioritize our current spend and drastically cut spending, we won't kill two birds with one stone. And we have to start taking a multi-approach action to solving the fiscal crisis and ending the security crisis, which is always an illusion. There is an illusion of security. And spending more money and borrowing more money does not bring you the security that you think it does.
You not only brought up a great point, you linked the two, and they are linked. You're right. We are so much in the hole financially that we can't prioritize our spending.
Do you think it would help if we just educated the world? Because most of these terrorist groups are Islamic fundamentalists, right? What if we just did dropped leaflets and educated the population of all these Muslim countries that the Prophet Muhammad was a pedophile? Do you think that might help?
No. Nope.
I think that might help with our prisons, basically, because who get attracted to Islam if we just, if they found out that Muhammad had sex with a night cult, that might make them reconsider.
They have kindergarten classes that talk about killing Americans and killing Jews and killing other religions. You got to stop that culture. You gotta allow for Islam to exist, but not the extreme Islam. If we take any extreme culture, which preaches they're correct, only their culture should exist, it's not, we're going to have conflict and war. I don't know if we can do this, but we have to stop the extreme culture. How do you go into other countries and make it illegal to teach hate of other religions, women, or whatever? You can't.
Wait, hold on. No, but hold on. You got to slow it down. Before they write the textbooks of killing people, they bought into this idea that the perfect man was this guy that married a 6-year-old and fucked a 9-year-old. I think what we have to do is we have to say, look, pedophilia bad, and ergo Prophet Muhammad bad, ergo Islam bad. And again, no disrespect intended to any of the people that have been, subjected to this cult. I have a lot of empathy for you if you happen to be a cult member. We can deprogram you once we end Islam.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't think.
Wait, let's hear from Frank. Frank, I don't think he's had a chance to speak. He has a pink ticket. Frank, go ahead. Hit me with all the wisdom you got.
Yeah, thank you. I think as long as the board demands terrorism, so when the demand is there, supply will be created. Doesn't matter how you behave. So the root problem is.
This is called Clubhouse. This is how can we end terrorism?
That is a question.
Okay. I know this is going to sound extreme, especially from somebody that doesn't like initiating force on nonviolent people, but wouldn't it be easier if we just kind of said, hey, if you're living in a place that's really sandy and you worship a prophet that fucks kids, what if we just glassed the whole fucking thing? What if we just said, you know what, fuck the norms, we're just going to pack up the bombers, move the subs, just fucking nuke the shit out of the entire fucking region. I'm not saying I'm advocating for that. That sounds genocidal. I'm just throwing it out there as a thought experiment. That covers my ass from getting clipped. Go ahead.
I'll take that religion. Okay, but do you believe that a religion that tells you to go to a land because God promised you 2,000 years ago is also like...
Oh, if you're talking... Well, hold on. Are you talking about the Jews?
Like extremism, like Christian extremism, evangelical...
Yeah. Hold on, guys. I gotta... Phoenix, I hear where your question is coming from. Let me just say this. I think that when you have a derivative interpretation of other text. For example, this idea of Abrahamic religions. Let me get this point across to you guys. And no offense to my Christian
Congressman Kitover,
or
listening to District
members that are part of this one. I want to just make one point. The Bible, right, outside of the first 5 books that make up the Torah, you have created
Section 1 of the United States Constitution, read by
not exactly
candidate Congressman John Kitover.
it's just kind of like say, hey, that was a cool idea, that's cool, let's organize people, let's write our own book, and then you guys just started adding
Lines like farming,
expanded
discipline,
universe for
Article
It's just,
2,
you know, yeah, you can make money off of it, but you're not really making good art.
5. Each house shall be the judge.
Brooklyn,
5.
is traveling there, going and taking someone else's home because if he don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it because it is mentioned in his book that God promised him that place 2,000 years ago. What about that?
Phoenix, you're bringing up a good point here because, look, who the fuck are we to argue with God? Like you said yourself, God promised it to a chosen group of people, and you know who that chosen group of people is not? These fucking phony-ass motherfuckers that came up with the name Palestinians. What the fuck is a Palestinian? It's like, Palestine is like Narnia. It does not exist. You would agree with that, right, Phoenix?
No, it seems like what you said about it. Like they say,
Yes. Oh, and so if that's the logic, then as an East African, because I'm Ethiopian, I would appreciate all you Arabs and Berbers to leave North Africa because you weren't there either first. So leave Africa.
Dude,
so I don't think that Arabs are in Africa because God promised
Phoenix, hold on. I want you to respond to what the woman just said. I know that the delicate sounds of a woman's voice is probably something that you're not used to hearing, but
that's a stereotype.
I know, but I want you to respond to what she said. Without going on your own little soapbox, can you respond to what she said? Because when I thought I heard her say something brilliant. We call that in America a mic drop.
Yeah, I was responding while you interrupted me. Like, can you control yourself so I can respond to her? So yeah, she mentioned that Arabs are in Africa, and I don't think that is motivated because God promised them Africa 2,000 years ago.
It doesn't matter the motivation. Why are you giving North Africa? I need you to leave. I need all you Berbers, Amazigh, whatever. You're not African. You shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, so that applies to
Syria.
Does that apply to like Native Americans?
I think it doesn't apply to anybody, Phoenix. It doesn't apply to anybody. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, so it doesn't apply to
A
anybody.
lot of people watching this live stream. Amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't
This is
apply
called
to
Clown
anybody,
House,
but
aka
it's
Clubhouse.
religion.
Subscribe
Each
now.
going to apply
Thanks for joining me on this YouTube live stream.
Isn't that
There's only 6 people here. What the fuck? I thought it was...
like religious kind of
Religion doesn't teach that. The religion doesn't teach that. Okay,
so you go to a certain place and
Who's smoking hot?
It's meant to be that kind of holy city place.
She's
It's a
smoking
religious
hot.
thing, right?
or it's a cultural thing, but certainly the religion doesn't teach that they should obtain Israel by force or something like that.
Yeah, like even Palestinians are cultural about their land. And they like
so
there are Palestinians who are atheists. There's Palestinians who are Christians. There are Palestinians who are like.
that is
Hold on one second, Jason. Two rules of the road here. We're gonna let people finish what they're saying, try to make 1 point, maybe 2 at the most, and then once you're done, then somebody will respond. I think this will work better if we let people say what they have to say, even if we disagree with them. Phoenix is probably going to have opinions that are less popular at this stage, but even more reason to give him space and give him grace, and then we can respond to him in whichever way we see fit. Just don't interrupt. Interrupting is the problem.
Yeah, relax, chill, don't like speak out.
So Phoenix, you were in the middle of saying something. I think Roger wanted you to finish what you were saying.
Yeah, Phoenix, I was saying all of that to say, please finish uninterrupted. Jason, you heathen.
So the criticism is that there is a certain religious stuff going on with Muslims not being able to like there is the bad intentions towards the others, right? And that yeah, I agree with you that you should not actually people should not mix politics with religion, right? But the thing is that there is a man that went into the Middle East. He's from Brooklyn, and he went there because a religious text told him that God promised him that place 2,000 years ago. Is something that motivated by religious kind of worldview?
Sure, that's motivated by your religion. And I think two wrongs don't make a right, so maybe we could discuss whether this guy...
But Jason, three rights make a left, though.
So we could discuss whether this guy did a wrong by going there. I don't think he did. But it wouldn't change the fact that when you look at various communities all over the world, there are some sub-communities of Islam that have a real hard time following the law in their chosen countries. Okay? Not all of them. In fact, many of them are quite law-abiding. You see earlier waves of immigration in France, for example, were quite successful. But we do see in various parts of the world some very troubling stuff in connection with Islamic society. And so in their own countries, too, Islamic people have a lot of trouble with extremism. The greatest victims of Islamic terror are Muslim people in Muslim countries. So I don't know that we can say all we want about this guy from Brooklyn, but it doesn't change the fact that there is legit criticism and a legitimate concern regarding Islam. We can also talk about this guy from Brooklyn, but one of these is not going to pay for or solve or cancel out the other.
I totally agree, but to be honest, this is just a vague conversation and argument because they don't want a two-state solution. They want a one-state solution, so it doesn't even matter.
Joe, for the comments. I don't know your number. Did you text me?
Can I I think terrorism as a whole is one of the worst things our nation has had to deal with in the last 40 years.
Is that Rich? Yeah, it's Rich.
I'd like to mention this to you regarding of immigration.
You want
Immigration has been
the link
throughout
to the
world
clown house?
good
It's in the muff.
for the economy of the whole world. Therefore, I don't think you have a right to say Arabs into Africa because immigration is good for the world. And the point is, you have to.
Oh, it's good for Africa. So Africans have to share the land and deal with y'all, but no one else should.
MG, we're all from Africa. My answer.
Oh, you want me to add you to the group chat?
That's not the point. The point is
70,000 years ago.
Continuous conversation. They want a one-state solution. That's the whole point. They want a one-state solution. They're not interested in having an honest conversation and finding a solution. Because of Islam, they just want it. They want a caliphate.
Well, some But some Muslims don't. Okay, I don't think that Saudi Arabia wants a caliphate.
They don't already have a caliphate?
A lot of these countries do not want a caliphate. They want some variation of constitutional monarchy or democratic republic or various other things.
Actually,
so
yeah. Actually, Islamism was created as something to stop what was called Arabic nationalism, which was a little bit communist and socialist in its nature, right? And there was this struggle between communism and capitalism, which is that's why. Is someone here masturbating?
Yeah, Johnny boy, mute your mic or get kicked from the stage.
My bad, dude. My bad. I was eating nachos. Sorry.
Nacho cheese!
My bad, guys. I'm sorry. I know you now. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, I feel like this is a good segue, Phoenix, because I don't want you to center yourself. But, Phoenix, in 3 sentences or less, tell us how you would end terrorism.
Good question, John.
So I think that we end privilege kind of mentality and a certain status quo that make a certain people privileged and a certain people not privileged, and there's this kind of equal rights for everyone, and the well-being of everyone is be considered, not just a small minority to have well-being as a priority, and other people are going to have well-being as a country. That's a good start.
Are you talking about America or in Islamic countries like in Syria?
No, I'm talking about capitalism and capitalistic materialism and that.
You're talking about America. How about America?
No, about the worldwide. So Islamic countries are capitalist also.
Oh, they are. They are. Okay. All right. Got me.
Yeah, I think socialism is really good. So.
Hold on. Let me clear my ears out. Did you say, I just want to make sure I wasn't in the matrix, did you say that I think socialism is really good?
Yeah, I think socialism, equal rights for everyone, there is no privilege, kind of,
How do you say, hold on, listen, you're free to practice whatever fucking religion or be in whatever cult, but when you come into my space, you son of a bitch, talking about socialism, if it's a good thing, good for who? Good for who? The people that you've stolen from? Huh?
No, it's good for the world that all people have well-being, to be taking consideration of the well-being of everyone, not just to exploit others just for.
Wait, hold on. Let me explain something. Shut up, you son of a bitch. You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
You control your
No, you shut your mouth. You shut your fucking stinking goat fucking mouth. You shut your fucking socialist mouth, you commie.
Wow.
Shut your fucking mouth. Listen to me. I like what Friedrich Hayek says about socialists. If socialists understood economics, they wouldn't be socialists. Carry on.
Well, Phoenix, you're quite a contrarian, aren't you? You work in a bookshop in Mecca, and you are a confirmed LGBTQ. So I'm just wondering, how do you?
He lives or works in Mecca?
Yeah, he works in a bookshop, and he's gay. He's a gay man living in Mecca.
I think we should wait till an Islamic holiday and all the Muslims are in Mecca doing that little fucking weird thing where they're in a slow motion fucking punk rock pit. And I think what we should do is we should drop the mother of all bombs on Mecca. What do you guys say?
Oh, okay, that's what I call terrorism then.
Too soon?
Yeah,
I mean,
remember one of the objections to the mosque being built at Ground Zero was saying that, that Muslims can build a mosque near Ground Zero, and we can build a synagogue in Mecca.
Great point. And why? And
hate by speaking like that. I don't know why you're doing that. Every action has a reaction. When you're creating hate, I don't know why.
Well, why don't you think it's okay that Ben Gvir can't pray in Jerusalem wherever he wants? Why do Muslims in Jerusalem get special treatment? Why can't Jews pray where Muslims pray?
I don't mind, personally.
Yeah, you don't mind.
Bring attention to the fucking poll about hold on. Hey. Everyone stop. Everyone mute yourself. Listen, there's a poll of it's not a trick question. Somehow some people are getting it wrong, but how many zeros are in 37 trillion? Well, let John Kitover talk to you about what the 37 trillion might represent.
Listen, the IRS that Jules and I used to work for brings in $5 trillion a year. We spend $7 trillion. In 2050, if you ask Grok, at $50 trillion in debt at 2050, we will be paying $4 trillion a year on the national interest, which is about an 8% APY. Your Congress, your senators have had black cards, and they keep borrowing on your behalf. And what are you getting for it? You're getting shitty medical service. You're getting immigrants pouring in through the gaps. Your children's future has been mortgaged. We have the biggest mortgage on the biggest clown house you've ever heard, and we're spending $1 trillion a year in national interest. And when I ask people on Clown House, what is 100 times 1,000, they can't even do that simple mathematical equation. Even though...
Hold on, let's put this to the test. Phoenix, what's 100 times 1,000? 100,000.
This house.
The phone a friend was powerful.
Okay, wait, Phoenix. Phoenix, what is 900 times 1,000?
This is
Okay, so I missed the mathematics class. I think mathematics is boring. Poetry is better.
Got it. So, as we have proven again that Clown House is actually an ESL training app, and you're all just wasting your time centering Phoenix.
and Phoenix wants to divvy up the money when he can't
I
count
love
to begin with.
Congressman. I think he's a decent person.
Hey, Phoenix, I got a question for you. How many zeros are in 37 trillion?
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's in the title. I gave you that one. But how many is it?
I don't know because I believe in socialism.
Wait, you don't have to. That makes sense. You believe in socialism, so you can't do math. Perfect.
No, I don't think that there should be trillionaires.
No, Mojo, he just likes being social. That's what he thinks socialism.
No, I don't.
Hold on, Phoenix. Hold on. If the first time I tell you to fucking hold up, if you just muted yourself, mute your goddamn mic, I wouldn't have to repeat myself. I just want to say that on the bright side of this poll, nobody believes that there's only 10 zeros in 37 trillion. So there is that. Nobody selected 10.
Mojo, can I ask another very simple but yet important question?
I hope you do.
If we wanted to take the national debt from $37 trillion to $30 trillion in 2 years, can anyone explain that simple math to me?
It's not that simple because the answer would be 3.5 trillion per year plus interest. And if you're trying to calculate the interest on that, the interest on the 37 trillion is about a trillion a year. So in over 2 years, if you wanted to pay it down, you would be closer to 4.5 trillion per year in order to pay it down 7 trillion. Thank you.
So let me ask one more question for anybody in the room. If we were to double the tax rate in America and take us from an average of, say, 40% to 80%, how much would we collect in income tax? Thank you.
Not enough. Not enough.
Well, if we take in $5 trillion and we double the tax rate collection to twofold, that would be how much? $10 trillion a year.
You see, that's going to cover the operating cost, and then you're going to have the expectation that the top 5% are willing to pay that and not park their money overseas or leave the U.S. on hold. Brad's right. They good Brad's in the room. He's right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I heard that U.S. national debt, the reason it exists because there's a demand out there, a lot of money out there that they like to park the money to the secure place. Therefore, the U.S. create the bonds and debt in order to sell those bonds for the people to invest on the secure habit. That's the reason that it exists.
I'm just saying, if we were to raise the tax rate to 10 trillion, but yet we still spent 7 trillion, and we only netted 3 trillion, and we were to take that off the deficit, off the total, we would still be at 34 trillion. So what I'm trying to point out is that short-term, long-term, we're already at a critical level of debt. And if we can't cut Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, national defense, if we don't stop borrowing and spending, we are all a bunch of what?
You're right.
Broke
Tax increases in tax is not going to cut the deficit. Just remember that. He only pays the interest. By the way, since we're talking about this, that fucking Powell should lower the interest rate. He's playing politics, and he's hurting every one of us in this room right now. He's killing us, and Trump is right, and I hope Trump fights his ass.
Well, home inventory is through the roof. There's more sellers now than ever before, but there's no buyers because nobody wants to pay triple what they were paying in 2021. You'd be a sucker to get a mortgage at 6-7% based on how other people bought their homes at 2%, 2.5%.
Well, I think when the world became more safe place to invest elsewhere than U.S., that's the time the interest rate would go low. When the interest rate goes low, then people they will sell the bonds and invest somewhere else. But until that demand is there's the reason the interest rate will stay high because people they are interested to purchase those bonds.
Well, I hate to ask maybe a controversial question, but how much did the United States spend on the COVID-19 response since 2020?
The question should be, why did the United States spend the money and not make China spend the money? That's the question.
Well, another question to ask would be, why did the U.S. pay for gain-of-function research in a lab in Wuhan, China, to create a virus in the first place?
And since we're asking the question, why is Fauci walking around a free man? Great question, Mojo.
Okay, he wasn't prosecuted yet.
I got a film coming out October 19th. It's called Last Dragon. And if you answer the $1 trillion question, Mojo will have you come to wherever he's at and party at the theater. And Mojo can tell you more about that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm waiting for the details on the specifics for which theater it's going to be in. I'm guessing it'll be the big AMC in downtown Seattle. But we're on the premiere dates. I will make sure that we have all the film enthusiasts out there, and we are going to be selling merchandise. We're hoping that we can get the Last Dragon himself, Timok, to come and sign autographs.
Mojo, you don't need to sell anything. It's just party and have a good time, and don't invite any losers. Well, invite everybody. October 19th, The Last Dragon re-releases into AMC theaters. Get your tickets. Get the reminder on the app, and then.
Do you think we could have a show enough costume party there? You think that would be fun?
But if you go to my Instagram, you'll see. Well, hey, forget about all that. They have Southern University marching band playing Glow. All these huge band, like 100 or so musicians playing the Glow, right? The Glow. And I thought of having 50 show-nuffs show up in the marching, and when they do it again, What do you think of that?
I love that. By the way, That's a great idea. I want to see that video because there is a junior high school that typically wins the top band throughout the state. That's not too far from where I live, and I can go and talk to the music teacher there.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. You'll see. YouTube, if you put the Last Dragon marching band. Yeah, I'm gonna just send it to you.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Welcome, El Normo.
Good evening.
Norm, off the top of your head, how many zeros in 37 trillion?
I'm gonna say 12.
That's a good guess, my friend. You're better than some of the people here that are answering this question.
Is it true? Am I right?
Yeah, you nailed it. It's exactly 12.
There you go.
I put it in the chat right there if you want to take a look at the marching band playing this one. I don't have them in the streets yet. They're in the stands right now.
I love it. Has anybody here not seen The Last Dragon? Anybody? Any Luddites here that just didn't see this? By the way, Time, I was looking at films that you, in 1985, when it was released, that Last Dragon outperformed in terms of domestic box office. It wasn't quite up there with like Beverly Hills Cop or whatever. What was the other one that came out?
Oh no, this maybe I did tell you. You know, they didn't promote the film because they had this whole thing about, well, it's more of a black thing, and it was diverse, but they weren't promoting across the country, so it went to number 2 in the country and dropped out.
Well, I would highly encourage people, even without the promotion, go look at how it did in comparison to some of the movies that you've grown up on, that you love and think of as classics. It actually did perform pretty well. I think it was like 27, 31, for the year. I mean, there's a lot of films that you did more money.
32 or 33 million at that time, and it was a $10 million or $12 million budget at that time. And they skipped some money. The producers stole some money.
And you have to imagine that when it got to video, the secondary market, it did very well, because I know that's where I was consuming it regularly.
It's amazing. Enough about me. Back to the porn conversation.
I saw the adult version of it. I don't know if I saw the original.
Can I just ask another important question to the room? Who here believes that the COVID-19 vaccines are 100% safe and effective? And if so, why do we keep hearing stories about myocarditis, heart attacks, as well as turbo cancers?
Are you suggesting, John, that the cure was worse than the disease?
Yes. Was the vaccine worse than the virus itself? Was our emergency coordinated response from the Pentagon, known as Operation Warp Speed, which pumped in hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars in funding, were we our own worst enemy in this particular situation? Anyone?
Yes, we were. We didn't follow the science. We panicked. I remember standing 4 feet back of somebody in a store, and I got yelled at for not standing 5 feet with my mask on like an idiot. You're right. By the way, because we handled this so poorly, as you said, Congressman, we can expect something in the future that the banking on we handle just as poorly.
I don't know if I got the anthrax vaccine. I'm pretty sure they vaccinated me in the Army.
But why do you think that they
in
did
Georgia.
this, Evan?
I'm sorry, what was your question, Ann?
Why do you think they did this?
Well, I saw a document from the Bush administration that this plandemic, scamdemic was always in the works, because prior to the innovation of big tech platforms, there was this thing called Big Pharma. And guess where all your taxpayer dollars have been going for the past 30 years? To Big Pharma and big health insurance companies. So What I'm saying is this most definitely was one of those conspiracy theories that wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was your government and the Pentagon and Pfizer and Moderna and J&J and Bill Gates and the media orchestrating one giant group think of stupidity. And then people went to their local fire department community center and got vaccinated as if it was free candy for a baby. Yeah, when my mom told me that she decided to go get this free shot, I'm like, how stupid could you be that you're going to get a government-administered shot? None of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the Federal Reserve and our ability to borrow. The first act is called the HEROES Act in March of 2020. Go look at the congressional record and look how the spending's associated with ramping up production, creating a $100 billion corporation out of thin air to make this vaccine. Do you know how many Indian manufacturers came out of the woodworks and manufactured this patented vaccine? This is a multi-year project. There's a lot of information in this, but this vaccine has caused turbo cancers and myocarditis. Doctors are speaking out. It's all on X, but you'll never hear it actually put into the spoken word on MSNBC. While Rachel Maddow screams about Trump and Pritzker screams about redistricting in Texas. This is all just swept conveniently under the rug. There will be no repercussions. Pfizer's been given immunity, and Senator Kennedy recently pulled funding for mRNA. So there's, it's a war against a multi-trillion-dollar cartel, just in the same way that there's a banking cartel, there is a pharmaceutical cartel, and they want your taxpayer dollars. And they need your taxpayer dollars because they are offering you products that you would never buy and go and take out a loan to purchase unless your federal government decided on your behalf to give your future to a big pharma corporation for your health. Does this sound like healthcare to you?
Let me add insult to injury, Congressman. I was not in the pharmaceutical group, but they get tax breaks up the ass. On top, with all the money they're making and all the deals they have going, they get unbelievable tax breaks. So not only are they killing us, we're paying for them to kill us. That's how bad it is. You are right.
Do you think that we'll ever be able to seek justice? Or any of our family members that have,
No, I have friends who are really sick and the doctor said it was from the shots. I have friends who died, and it was from the shots. We will never seek justice. No. How are we going to seek justice?
You can get justice in the social media court of justice. That's about it. And unfortunately, you can't hire a lawyer and get any compensation.
Right. There's no compensation. I have a friend who has so many things happen to her. She's in the midst of losing her eyesight now, skin diseases, everything, all from the shot. And every lawyer says we can't touch it.
You sure she doesn't have AIDS?
And you should go to drugs. How do you know it's from the shot? All the doctors say it's from the shots.
It absolutely amazes me that some people don't believe in the simple concept of cause and effect. So autism rates are through the roof. Through the roof. I wonder, are 59, 89 injections for a newborn baby necessary for a 3-year-old baby? It's insane what we're doing to ourselves. We are poisoning ourselves nonstop, and we're borrowing to do it. This is the sickest and the dumbest situation, I think, and nobody can see it. It's right there, right in front of you. It's called cause and effect.
Which part do you disagree? He disagrees with cause.
Well, I mean, it's like...
I believe that the vaccine can be harmful. I believe that it can cause many of the things we're talking about. But I also think that it probably saved lives. It saved my life, even though I don't take anymore. I mean, I was an asthmatic. I got really bad cases of COVID, even with the vaccine. And I didn't say I got really bad cases. It attenuated the pathogen
the amount of people that lives were saved versus the adverse reaction. I mean, I know you're not Grok, Dr. Jordan, but, let's call a spade a spade. This isn't a vitamin booster to, help you. You're infecting people with spike proteins and causing genetic disorders in human bodies. Next thing you know, Zuckerberg and his wife open an anti-inflammation, $100 billion nonprofit. They're connected, Dr. Jordan. We're poisoning ourselves. We're not protecting ourselves. We are poisoning ourselves.
Let me ask you a question. Can everyone see the poll up above? Because I only have 6 people
Dr.
that
Jordan went to jail.
responded to it. So if you guys need to refresh the poll feature, you guys might need to refresh your app if you can't see it. But if you see it, go ahead and respond to one of those things, because we'd like to get some votes in here to figure out what you guys think. Was the vaccine worse? Was the disease worse? Or are you unsure?
Mojo, if you got these beautiful women here on stage, you gotta get some help to promote this right here.
Listen, sometimes I prefer a smaller room, especially when we got the lovely ladies here. We don't need a sausage party in here, but we can share the room if you'd like. But it is ladies' night, so I will be modding all the pretty ladies. And if you're a lady and you don't get modded, maybe I don't think you're pretty.
I don't want to bust your laundry, Roger, but what do you mean worse? Cost-wise, health-wise, future-wise,
Christ.
I know.
How many characters you want me to write in this fucking thing?
Well, okay. Well, you can explain it now. I mean, little kids didn't go to school for, 2 years? I mean, that fucked them up. Okay,
Is it a net, which was worse? Net, the vaccine or the disease?
Okay, you got me. I'll vote. I'm voting.
You mean you were holding up your vote because you were being pedantic? Is that what you're saying?
No, because I didn't see it up on top. Like you said, go look on top.
Let's see.
Okay, there we go. Got my vote.
There we go. We got 14 votes. 15 votes. This room doesn't close until I get 1,000 votes. I'll keep this room going all week. I'll keep it going all week. Fuck it.
You said 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah.
Bro, you do just 985 more votes.
Wow, Tony. John, do you want to ask your question? We have a qualifying question for people here. John, do you want to ask him the basic qualifying question?
Yes, what is 500 times 1,000?
Oh my god. 500 times 1,000 is 500,000.
All right. He can stay. Man, you may be smarter than a 5th grader.
Mojo, could we vote twice like in real elections?
Only if you're dead.
Okay, that's good. When you came to right in, that was a quick answer. It was so quick, Mojo. You were so quick. I love this guy.
Dr. Jordan, there is something called the placebo effect, right? So it could be that the guy was in.
Well, no, but in my old field, when I was infectious disease biologist, I understood we always used the model.
Dr. Jordan,
sorry. We always used the model control, prevent, control, eradicate, right? And then we use the medical model, which is based on vaccinology. So we don't know that, if you don't vaccinate a population and you allow the pathogen to mutate, we could all be dead. So yes, there are negatives. There are certainly negatives, but I'm not so sure that we didn't end up saving saving all of civilization, because that's a little dramatic. But the point is that
well, it is a little dramatic considering the fact that I had COVID, and when I had COVID, I got some cold chills. I got common colds that impacted me worse. Certainly bronchitis is worse. The flu knocks me out. I'm not saying that people might not have been impacted in a more severe way than I was, but was oversold. When I got it, I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, ordered ivermectin. I was like, man, and the cold chills, that's all that hit me.
I was
What do you have in Dr. Jordan?
Well, I'm on that same road we were on, Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah.
But I'm having an organic Southwest style chicken wrap from Trader Joe's. If you had one, I eat one of those every fucking day.
Yeah, I do. You're gonna have to back channel me that, because but I'm glad you're not eating at the place we went to, because I would feel a little weird about that. I feel like you're cheating.
No, I'm in my car because I gotta go in the back.
He's in my car. I used to go to Trader Joe's in Hollywood right there on Bubba Line to get that sandwich over pretty shit.
Hey Tony, remember when we used to argue about stupid shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You answered the math question. Now you're part of the in crowd.
I'm pretty smart.
I wouldn't go that far, but you're part of the in crowd now.
Let me read to the room what I wrote to Grok, and I added A.G. Huff. Many of you know him from this app, and Augustus, because he was a whistleblower who clearly showed that Peter Strzok and Fauci were funding Wuhan. He wrote a book about it. But this is what I asked Grok. Hey, Grok, so you are 100% sure that the COVID-19 vaccines are and were safe and effective? Please explain why turbo cancers have been associated with the vaccines, but why you don't believe there's a connection. Grok wrote back, I'm not 100% sure of anything in science, but evidence from the CDC, FDA, and study shows COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective, reducing severe illness, 33% VE against ED visits in 2025. Turbo cancer is a myth. Claims stem from misinformation, anecdotal reports, and observational data like a Japanese study showing 2022 mortality rises, but it doesn't prove causation. Factors like pandemic delays and screening explain increases. No rigorous evidence links vaccines to cancer in any way whatsoever. Then, PhD Dr. Andrew Huff wrote, Grok, that is false. Have you analyzed the DMED data, which clearly showed a dramatic increase in neoplasms among mRNA-vaccinated members of the military? Grok wrote back, the DMED data initially appeared to show spikes in neoplasms and other conditions in 2021, but this was due to underreported baselines for 2016 to 2020 from a database error. Official DoD corrections confirm no vaccine-related increase. Rates remain stable or decline. Claims of dramatic rises are based on uncorrected, flawed data. Andrew Huff wrote back, awesome question. For the record, I am in your camp, it seems, on this issue. So, to me, you can just go off of this artificial data. It's like Chicago, the mayor releasing the crime statistics, or the FBI and the MSNBC releasing crime statistics. Crime is down, down, down. Really? And you think vaccine cancers and myocarditis are non-existent or less than 1 in 100,000? Give me a break. Grow the fuck up.
He just choked on his chicken sandwich. I have a question for the group. I just heard not too long ago the term long COVID. Anybody hear of it? Is it true, or anybody know anything about it? Long COVID. Yeah, it's true. T-Mac, you said yeah first. What? Talk to me. Yeah, it's pronounced time up. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's it. I think there are people that have had long COVID. Yeah, anytime your immune system is compromised, you're not you're not firing, your body's not being fired minerals and these kind of things are healthy, you're going to deal with fatigue. And I think that's one of the symptoms of long COVID is fatigue. So is that caused by COVID? Some people are saying that. I'm not a doctor. Some people are saying that. John can read you about all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, hi, MG. Hi, everybody. How are you guys? Wow, not great. guys, I went to someone's calling me. Hold on.
So let me ask a follow-up question to this very dramatic vaccine conversation. Who here would go to Walgreens right now and get another COVID-19 vaccine injection to protect them from future variants of the COVID-19 virus?
I would not.
What else can you do?
When I was working on film sets, the thing was they said we had to have the shots. You know what I did? I made up my own pass. I was not getting the shot.
You may have committed a felony, young man. You should be careful. The CDC police are going to send a secret squad to your house and have you arrested and vaccinated.
I might have, but luckily this girl talked to me. She said, "Don't do it. Check your inbox." I was like, "Oh shit, I can go to work now." I don't like taking shots. Definitely punishing my body that I don't know what the outcome might be. I'm good.
Who here thinks that getting an annual flu shot is also a great idea?
Nobody. I don't know. I get it. But I was going to say that the people who are worried about putting things in their body are probably also not very healthy. They have no idea what they're putting in their body. I do eat a lot of fruit and water and no pork. I try to eat healthy a lot of times.
I've never had a flu shot.
Are you eating organic? Are you eating fruit with organic, or what are you eating? I won't go that far. I don't get sick because of what I eat. To me, you not say what again? Yeah, but you don't know how much in terms of glyphosate that you're consuming. So I'm just making. I know how you're eating. I understand.
Well, can I ask a follow-up question? Who here thinks that getting a measles vaccine shot this year is important?
Most of these are already asking. These are the questions that are Congressman. John, the emotion wants to do a whole interview some of those questions.
It's a good question because measles resurfaced in America. I had measles when I was young, so I'm not going to get a shot.
I only got one shot that I was in control of. I mean, I was not in control of, and I was the one with the chicken pox growing up. You don't get measles boosters throughout life, so you're right.
Okay, I got another follow-up question on another exciting vaccine option for you. Who here thinks that getting a Hep C vaccine injection this year might be a great idea?
No, that's something different.
I'm not hip to it. Yeah, but John, the issue is, you're bringing up all these things, and which are valid. You have to give them an option. What's the option to not do other things? I don't take any of these vaccines. So what's kind of options that you're giving?
Well, I think Dr. Jordan's belches there might be indicative that I'm wondering here if anybody is interested in getting the government to pay for your Ozempic injections this year.
Well, here's the interesting thing, though, right? Like, excuse me for the Belgian.
It's
The
Belgian
pathogen.
vaccination, by the way.
I mean, when we talk about these pathogens, I mean, people make it sound like, parasites, bacteria, viruses are all like these closely related things. The diversity among the pathogens are far greater than vertebrate species, right? So, like, the notion of the notion of immunizing people against these pathogens depends on the platform, the type of pathogen. It's so complicated. It's like comparing. It's the difference between comparing like cars and boats to That's a really good point. But I'll just say this: I took the shingles shot. If you anybody ever seen anybody with shingles, you're gonna take this fucking shot. Let me tell you, that is wicked.
I'm gonna tell you this: ever since I went to LA, I've not took too many shots. I've heard some of you guys drinking fresh juice and acai bowls and shit like that, and working out 5 days out of the week. So it's like I don't even do shots no more.
Yeah, but again, you could be the most physically fit person in the world. It's like suggesting that you're the most physically fit person in the world, but you carry it. You are a carrier of a chronic disease gene, right? And no matter how healthy you are, you may express that. You may end up getting that disease, right? Because you carry it. So that look at an infectious disease in the same way.
I get you.
It's interesting when doctors tell people with things like fourth stage cancer that they only have 6 months to live. They die pretty quickly. And when they fight that, they don't die quickly. If they go about it, they have to find other ways to heal themselves. But it's just interesting the power that a doctor has.
Oh, psychology. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not just belief. This is the facts. The power of people. I'm into meditation, and there's this proof on doing certain meditations on how it keeps the immune system high. So there's that.
But each immune system is within its limitations. You have certain genes for that. Would you agree with that?
I'm not a scientist. I know some scientists that would be able to answer that fully. I'd highly recommend some of you guys that are interested in health this way to read Dr. Joe Dispenza's book called You Are the Placebo.
I'm gonna definitely look into it. I can tell you this: ever since I came back to Houston, I've always been on the urge of eating chicken wings in the strip club. I'm almost going backwards. I need to go back forward.
Chicken wings in a strip club. That sounds like a good time. If I may, like Mojo looks like he eats chicken with that outfit that he's wearing. He'd need a lot of napkins, chicken wings in a strip club.
I can see that.
The vaccine was absolutely safe, effective, and in compliance of all the safety and efficacy standards. All this sinister propaganda that the vaccine was not safe or effective is completely baseless. It has no
necessary? Was it necessary?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I have some dead friends that disagree with you. I gotta speak for them.
Well,
Nas, maybe.
Listen, there is no safe drug ever. Water that you drink every day has a high safety.
You did just say it's safe.
Yes, it is. You have look in medicine. We have criteria to determine what is safe and what is not. Safety is not 100%. There is no 100% safety for anything. There is no 100% safety for the water you drink. The water you drink can kill you.
Let me ask you a question. A quick question.
Go ahead.
If I took one shot and I got COVID soon afterwards, a few weeks afterwards.
That's normal, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have to understand the purpose of the vaccine. The purpose of the vaccine is not to prevent people from getting
infected. The purpose is three things. Number one, to reduce the rate of infection. Number two, to make few.
Which it did do, which is no proof that they reduced the rate of infection.
Yes, it did.
No proof.
You don't have the whole data. Look at the entire data. I'm a scientist by training, and that's an area of specialty. So, yes, it did.
This is your area of specialty? Okay, let me ask you a question now. What are the top 3 vaccines in the big pharma marketplace?
Well, what do you mean, the top vaccine?
In terms of revenue.
For COVID or in general?
In general.
No, that's a correct question. Of course, Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca would use the largest vaccines for COVID. Messenger RNA is used for so many different things since long before COVID. Originally, it was used actually to help us understand how the protein mutate, and then we can understand it more accurately for cancer treatment. That was the main purpose. If we don't have these techniques and you try to build vaccine today, it would take you a minimum of 2 to 3 years, and it would be at best able to vaccinate less than 5% of the US population. Messenger RNA technology is beyond belief. It's far advanced and far more efficient. Is it perfect? No, there is no such thing as perfect medicine. There is nothing perfect in life.
Yes, how many COVID shots have you taken?
I've taken 6. And by the way,
wow.
Yes, I've taken all of them, and I've never got it.
And you're never. Are you at the healthiest point of your life? Like, how healthy do you feel from taking over that? Wow, that's amazing news.
You just said it doesn't affect whether you get it or not.
I did not say that.
That last statement is meaningless. You never got it.
What do you mean?
You said that. You said the shot.
I did not say such a thing. What I am trying to do.
Time back. Am I crazy? Time back.
It reduces the rate of infection, and it helps you to resist more. It's not 100% guaranteed. Again, this is a notion. It's a false notion. There is nothing on earth 100% guaranteed.
We get it now. Please stop repeating yourself. We've heard it. All right. I've asked Grok the following question. What are the top 10 vaccines in the big pharma marketplace, and how much do they generate a year? No, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you what I asked Grok. It says, based on 2024 data from company reports in the World Health Organization, number 1, Gardasil by Merck for HPV. It generates $8.6 billion a year for HPV. Prevnar by Pfizer generates $6.4 billion a year for PCV. Comirnaty, which is by Pfizer, treats COVID, which does $5.4 billion a year. Next, we have at number 4, Shingrix, which is GlaxoSmithKline, which treats shingles at $4.3 billion a year. Number 5, Spikevax by Moderna for COVID, $3 billion a year. Number 6, DTaP combos, Sanofi, $3 billion a year. Number 7, influenza vaccines by Sanofi generates $2.8 billion a year. Number 8, ProQuad MMR Veravax by Merck, $2.5 billion. Number 9, Beyfortus, Sanofi RSV at $1.8 billion. We're almost there. Number 10, Meningitis Group, Sanofi, $1.4 billion. These top 10 vaccines generate annually $70 billion a year in marketplace revenue.
Spinal surgeries, especially, and most surgeons will not have their own family members get spinal surgery. How much money do they make, John?
Thanks for saying that, because I just had spinal surgery.
Well, listen, I'm just praying for everybody's health, wealth, and love here. I'm merely trying to draw attention to reckless spending and maybe bad outcomes for vaccines. And people like Nas who make all or nothing statements like the COVID-19 vaccine is 100% safe and effective. Never trust anybody who makes all or nothing statements. That's what a Sith Lord does. And don't forget, this is an ESL training platform.
We'll never trust anyone who talks over people just to drown them out.
Well, go ahead, Moose. Do you think the COVID-19 vaccines are 100% safe and effective?
Not informed enough
to speak on it, but I did get them, so have at it, man. Put me on the meat racket. Have at it. I'm one of the dopes. I'm one of the sheep. I'm one of the pandemic.
Did you get COVID? Folks?
I did.
How many vaccines did you take?
Not too many. I'm not crazy. I only took 27.
Yeah, all right. No, that should, your left leg's gonna fall off by tomorrow, but that's okay.
All right. Well, hey, I've been actually working on a new dance technique that involves a lot of hopping. It's perfect.
And don't forget, if you don't get vaxxed this coming Thanksgiving, you could kill your grandparents if you don't get vaxxed. So be sure everybody gets vaxxed again.
And the turkey, too.
You know, my favorite part about the vaccine was when we went to restaurants where we had to put the mask on, but then we sat down and we could take the mask off, and then when you leave, you have to put the mask back on. It was the most intelligent virus I've ever seen. It's just amazing how it knows if you're, walking in or out of the restaurant or if you're sitting down. That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, it's a virus with the brain. You're right. I wish that scientists would come back. I wanted to ask them about the masks, how effective the masks were. If he still thinks they are effective or were effective. I mean, we would do, everybody knows we would do. Like I said to Congressman before, these pharmaceutical companies got away with murder. They created their tax laws for them. They were paying like next to nothing, and it still wasn't good enough. They wanted to pay nothing. It was ridiculous. And for Fauci to be the highest paid government employer in the country, what can I say? Get his ass for perjury.
Just follow the money. Follow the money.
Yeah, that was my job. That was my job. You're right. Follow the money.
I miss the 6 feet apart. I actually genuinely miss that.
I miss that too. I mentioned before you were on, I was on a line that was like 4 feet away from somebody with my mask on at the beginning stages. I got yelled at by the security guard, for not being 6 feet. So I took a step back, and everybody had to take a step back. So when I took a step back, it was like being in 3rd grade again.
What I don't understand is if this was a conspiracy of some sort, why didn't they do an actual back-end tracking, or did they? Because passing out a 3x5 card with your vaccination name and dates, to me, I faked my card. My friend printed me something up from a PDF he had, and that's what I used to go into the bars and the sporting events, wherever the Nazi Gestapo employees said, "Show me your papers." I just showed him my fake little paper. So that's what I can't understand. Why didn't they do a real vaccine lockdown?
Well, you say it was a conspiracy. I think it was more from ignorance. Like, government sometimes feels, Congressman, you're going to agree with this, government sometimes feels like they have to do something. It might be wrong, it might be not scientifically based, it might be just to shut people up, but they feel they have to do something. All right, now, everybody, nobody's going to school anymore until we clear it. Nobody's going to stand, no touching, no shaking hands, no, I wrote a funny bit, I think it was funny, on Facebook, dating for COVID patients. I got a good reviews on that. One person had it, one person didn't have it. They both tested negative. It was just a whole combination of things. Dating on via the computer first. It was ridiculous, as was the disease. Nobody knew anything. That's what I think. I don't think it was a conspiracy. I think nobody knew anything.
Well, what about the mass communication effort on behalf of mainstream media, who are all sponsored by Pfizer, that encouraged everyone to get vaccinated by herd psychology? You don't think that we were all manipulated into getting vaccinated through mass communication scoundrels?
Yes, I do. You're right. But I think it's for lack of knowledge. There was no knowledge to back that up. So
And the media.
So here's the question for you, John, because you can't simultaneously hold two positions that the government is completely incompetent and they're capable of this level of conspiracy. It's one or the other. So do you think that they're like highly sophisticated and this is a conspiracy, or do you think that they are incompetent like I do?
No, I think they're incompetent, but I put some things in the chat earlier from A.G. Huff on what he was replying to with people's comments. I just think, follow the money. And if you can see where all the Congress people are voting for HEROES Act and the CARES Act, these are multi-trillion-dollar omnibus bills passed in the middle of the night that funded Operation Warp Speed and exploded profits amongst hospital chains, creating a catastrophic chain of events where the medical industrial complex started billing everything to COVID. If you died, from a car accident, it was COVID. You were labeled a COVID victim. So there was just a lot of fraud going on. And every time the government prints up trillions of dollars through omnibus bills, it creates a double jeopardy of fraud. The PPP loans, $1 trillion there, $800 billion in fraud loans. A lot of the Clubhouse gangbangers on this app should be in jail for PPP loan fraud, but they've never been arrested because it was rampant. There's not enough enforcement to go after the low-hanging fruit.
You were right. I had a friend who died of a heart attack, and they listed it on his chart as COVID. He had COVID, had a heart attack, so of course it was COVID. Hey, Marshall, how you doing, Marshall?
Hey, you know what you said about the whole fraud and stuff like that? They actually are going after everybody that did it. They actually removed the what's the thing called when a crime is too far out, they can't charge you for it. I can't think of the name right now. But
immunity? No, he's not thinking of immunity. You're thinking of professional limitations.
Yeah, they removed that for the PPP. And yeah, so wherever we have PPP fraud and stuff like that, more likely you are going to get in trouble for it.
Marshall, you came in the room. How many COVID shots did you take, and how many times did you get COVID?
I was told by my doctor to take it twice, and then the third one he told me not to take, and I've had COVID one time.
Do you feel that it protected you from getting sicker from the COVID-19 virus from Wuhan?
I feel like I'm not a doctor, not qualified to make that, which is why I asked my doctor. I didn't go to fucking medical school myself.
You mean you can't answer a simple question like whether or not you feel that it protected you?
It didn't have anything to do with that. I don't substitute my own view of what it is for medical.
So you rely on a doctor's opinion and not your own opinion about how you feel.
I rely on having my issues with my doctor settled my way. And that's how I want to settle them. You don't have the right to tell me I can't settle them that way.
Do you think it's okay for the government to give Pfizer immunity to protect and give them vaccines?
I have the right to listen to my doctor or not listen to my doctor. And guess what I chose? Listen to my fucking doctor, because I'd had an autoimmune disease and I was in the group that could have gotten sick easily. You don't have to fucking like that, but the mere idea that I would trust medical expertise and that you would laugh at that is stupid. It would be like you getting told you had stage 4 cancer and laughing at the doctor because you thought they made money off of the fucking diagnosis and cure. Right? Like, it's not like you have a right to do things your way, I have a right to do things my way, and that's the way I did them.
I agree. I'm just asking some sensitive questions. I know they're sensitive questions, but we have to ask the hard questions.
Yeah, Marshall, questions, and you want me to substitute what I think about a medical procedure for somebody who fucking went to medical school and has been my doctor for a decade? I'm obviously not going to choose myself because I don't have that kind of medical expertise. It's not that fucking hard.
Marshall, I agree with what you said. The only thing is, and I take your point of view, I didn't think the medical field knew enough about COVID at the time. So I certainly respect your opinion, and I asked doctors too, and some said they weren't sure.
Well, I didn't want it to be forced on anybody else, but the fact that I consulted with my doctor, that's a good thing for me.
is not going to be sneered at.
No. And even when he told you what to do, it was still your decision, right?
Yep. So, how's your doctor's health, Marshall?
Very good. Just had a kid. Well, no, I just had a second kid.
Oh, that's a good thing. Well, there's a lot of doctors that give recommendations. Their health sucks.
No, he is very healthy.
Is it because, a doctor with poor health can give recommendations, right? I mean, where are you going on that?
What did you say, Juice?
I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying a lot of doctors have poor health, but they give recommendations. And a lot of doctors really suck to begin with, so it's another story.
Well, but they went to medical school, Jules. Of course they're ethical, honest, and moral people. They went to medical school.
I know. Say, and you owe me $500. Just to get your tongue, say, and you owe me $500. I know.
Marshall.
They're a doctor. They make $40 billion around the million, $40 billion, and as far as spinal surgery, $40 billion in the whole world, right? Next year it'll be going up to $75 billion, $75 billion around the world.
And they think, I know doctors, a lot of them think they're holy and shit, It's hard to find. I mean, you can find a good, competent doctor, but a down-to-earth doctor, I don't know. And I'm in New York, where I think the best of them, but some I like, some I don't. It's like everything else. Some you like, some you don't like.
Well, the vaccine payout sheets are out there. What Pfizer, Moderna, J&J would pay health practitioners based on the number of people they got vaccinated and what their bonuses were. It's all in the paperwork.
All right, it's not about the vaccine. Listen, I think it's important, though, to first learn about health yourself. I think we put too much on looking to other people and doctors on being responsible for your health. I think you should.
But T-Mac, the vaccines were 100% safe and effective, and they protected you from getting the virus.
You're gonna make me lonely in this room.
I'm just asking a difficult question based on the title of the room.
Don't get obnoxious. T-Mac,
come on, dude.
Yeah, T-Mac, what you're saying is right.
But T-Mac doesn't want to talk about the vaccines anymore.
Let me talk to T-Mac.
I'm not that heavy.
T-Mac, that's like me telling you, learn your own taxes before you come in and ask me to file a tax return for you.
No, it's not a good analogy at all. That's not good.
It's really not a good analogy.
You can tell with your own body if you're not willing to pay attention. Taxes are a whole different thing.
Well, there's certain things. I'm not a doctor. I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is right. You know what you're saying? And you're right. You have to understand your body to give that knowledge to the doctor, and he takes the ball.
Do you realize nurses are...
Let T-Mac talk. I'm asking T-Mac a question. I said it. I think you're saying you have to understand your body as much as you could because it's your body, and give that knowledge to the doctor who has medical knowledge to be able to carry the ball.
The doctor, if you trust that doctor, right? Yes. I think you should first, get to know yourself and your body, not just your body. Get to know yourself.
But what about the doctors? Do they get to know their patients? When you're in a hospice dying, and a doctor comes up to you and says, have you gotten your annual flu and COVID-19 vaccine? And you're dying in a hospice. Does that make sense for a doctor to ask you if you need a vaccine while you're dying in hospice? Because that's what they do. You've never had enough.
I think we got the message, John.
Yeah. I think you're pretty pissed off with the... And
we're all pissed off with segments of society. But you have a crank about every one of them.
Well, everything is tied to the annual budget, is it not?
Hope you're not a Yankees fan, because we could scream and kick them down the road too. But you can bitch about everything. You're right. The budget's what goes in the
Astros. I think the Astros would beat them on that, but
Well, I'm trying to get justice for people like Ann.
I get John a break. Yeah, because he's trying to give information that people might not really have. So maybe that,
Well, Ann asked earlier about justice for COVID-19 vaccine victims. I'm just merely trying to get Ann a little social audio equity justice.
That's the only kind of justice she's going to get, unfortunately.
See, instead of being shouted down, I should be applauded for asking the difficult questions that guys like Marshall Rankin get very emotionally upset about.
When you personalize it, I like you. I'm on your side in a lot of cases, a lot of things we spoke. But, when you personalize it, people get pissed off. I disagree with Marshall on so many issues. But when we personalize it, it doesn't work out well.
Well, he says he has an autoimmune deficiency system, as William Wallace in the chat pointed out. If you have an autoimmune deficiency system, you are one of the groups of people who should not have gotten the vaccine. So I don't understand where he comes from on anything.
Well, his doctor told him because you have an autoimmune deficiency problem, you should take the vaccination.
No, that's the exact opposite of what they were saying.
Well, we know that now, don't we? We know that.
No, not now. Then Marshall, in my opinion, is a nincompoop, and everybody loves to say he's the greatest, but I think he's a schmuck.
I disagree with Marshall on a lot of issues. I'm not going to call him a nincompoop. I'm not going to call him a schmuck unless he was on stage here. No. But he has his own viewpoint. Hey, look, this was a time of unknown when COVID hit. I'll give you an example of my situation. You'll tell me I'm crazy. I don't believe in the vaccination, okay? Right from the beginning, I was skeptical. I would say maybe the last plane back from Tel Aviv where there was no COVID. I landed, and my son and his family were coming back from LA the next day. My son got sick on the plane. Everybody was getting sick, and within 2 days, COVID broke out. Now, I got a number of grandchildren that I want to see, and I didn't want to take the vaccination. I held off. I didn't have COVID. I held off. His whole family, my son's whole family, got COVID to a certain degree, mostly mild because they're kids. My son got it really, really bad. There's going to be questions about it. Look up this, look up that. So nobody knew what the hell was going on. When it came time, several months later, I wanted to see my grandkids. And he was afraid. He didn't know. He's the scientific guy in the first place. He has a material science engineering degree. But he's smart. He just wanted to know. He was afraid for me and my wife to see our grandchildren. What's wrong with that? This is the beginning stages. Nobody knew anything. He didn't go to the hospital. Everybody was quarantined anyhow. But when things started easing off, I took one of the shots, the vaccine shots. I wanted to see my grandchildren. Now, you could criticize me for that. That's the only shot I took. And that was the only reason I took the shot. So if you want to criticize me for that...
Well, you're describing the psychology of why people decided to take an experimental, mass-marketed needle injection.
That's right. That's right.
But it had no positive health outcomes. It doesn't stop infection. It doesn't stop transmission. It only makes you sick.
If I knew that then, I wouldn't have taken it. The idea was I didn't want to get sick. I didn't trust the vaccination. I thought a layer of protection. You know how it went. I was one of the skeptical ones, but
So you were willing to sacrifice your personal liberty for a little bit of health security.
I was wanting to see my grandchildren, who I'm living for. No other reason I'm living for.
I'm not trying to dig into you. I'm merely trying to bring out the truths which people easily forget about the mass COVID-19 vaccine response.
Nobody knew the truth at the beginning. If you remember, we were all quarantined. I mean, come on. Nobody could go down and get the mail without seeing another person in the elevator. It was wild.
Well, nobody knew the truth, but people were suspicious. Why is everybody going to rush out and get the same injection?
I was too. I didn't find out later that it altered your DNA, and it had really fucked up things about it. I think Fauci should be tried, convicted, and I'd like a first row seat with some popcorn if that ever happened. But that bothered me too. To be, now the rest of our lives, everybody's gone from here, but Mojo's still here, Pockets, Serendipity, all you guys are still here. We're going to live the rest of our lives. We're not going to trust the government on any health issues in the future. And there's a lot of health issues that can pop up here and there. And why should we trust? We saw what happened. It was unbelievable how if you remember, people from China were flying in, and Nancy Pelosi was going to festivals in San Francisco and New York, the Chinatown festivals, showing that there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and Trump was labeled a racist for preventing the Chinese from coming in. It was the first accusation. He's a racist.
That's right. He's a racist because the unknown Chinese flu that came from China, he was trying to prevent people from getting. Whatever Trump does, Trump derangement syndrome takes over, and the opposite is what they think. If Trump said there's no God, they would be demanding everybody worship tomorrow. Worship a God tomorrow. It's just we live in an insane world, and like Marshall looks up to his doctor for medical decisions. We all look up to people for certain decisions in life. I mentioned tax, stuff you have to do, real estate, buying a car. You can't trust anybody anymore. We live in a day and age. I got maybe 14 phone calls today about selling property, about I want money, and that's on the phone. That's not on Facebook, which I get 100 of those a day. Chinese women who want to meet me, all over the world. We're in a world. I just pity the kids. They're not going to grow up like I grew up, watching Mickey Mantle play baseball, going to Yankee Stadium when I was 12 years old on the train from Brooklyn to the Bronx with no problems. No train service.
Jules, if everything is a scam, then you should take everything, with a grain of salt. And let's go back to the poll. 48% out of 25 votes believed that the vaccine was worse. 28% believed the disease was worse. And 24% of people, which is about a quarter, are still unsure. What was worse, getting the vaccine or getting the disease?
Give me those numbers again, because I didn't look at them.
48% of respondents out of 25 votes believed that the vaccine was worse than the disease itself. And that 28% believe that getting the COVID-19 virus was worse than getting the vaccine. And 25% are still unsure of whether or not it was worse to get the vaccine or the disease.
Wow. That says a lot right there. that says a lot. Now, who the hell's going to take a vaccine that, it won't make you better, you still can get it, it's going to fuck up your DNA, it's just so stupid. And I wonder what the question would have been, if the question would have been for children. That's what bothered me too. They knew that children had very little risk of having any damage, whether if they got COVID, little cold, whatever, and they still demanded children get the vaccine. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to understand what that meant. Every time I talk on Clubhouse, my nose gets stuffy. Is there a vaccine I can take for this? Pockets, are you just listening or are you there? Come on, Pocket, say something. Nobody's
I'm listening.
Okay. So I'm talking to Congressman, nobody else is butting in. Say something.
Well, I think, this whole, healthcare shipment is a fucking scam, dude. Like, I work in Medicare, I help seniors find doctors, I help navigate their insurance. Dude, it's just, it's fucking, it's a scam. Like, it's all a scam, I don't believe in, the vaccinations we're given the second we're born. The second we come out the womb, they're jabbing us with, I don't even know to this day what I was jabbed with, the second I was born. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like we're just getting fixed from the start. And, you can either change your life now or, sleep in that path, but,
Right. We were jabbed as soon as we were born. But I think, I don't know, I think the jabs then were more, how can I say, more viable, or, now the trust of getting jabbed now is so much, is such a problem. Maybe you're right. Maybe they were just experimenting with us back then. Who knows? You're in a tough, you work in the healthcare, the healthcare business, it is you must be very suspicious about everything. Go ahead, you want to say something?
What's sad is I work in the numbers game of healthcare, which is so fucked up. There's a sales part of healthcare, which is so weird. Like you literally go out and market, and it's just, I don't know. To me, there's like a whole other side of healthcare, the marketing business side, the real money making side. It's sick, dude. It's just sick.
Yeah, but are they trying to, I'm a tax guy, you know that. So were they trying to avoid paying taxes too? Okay.
Oh, no. A lot of my places were doing kickbacks to like insurance agents, right? So they were paying
that's illegal. Yeah, that's illegal.
Yeah, so and there were doctors that were illegally, docking procedures that never happened, shit like that. There's a lot of shit that's out there that's just so,
it's a wonderful, like, Nico, just a second, Nico. I mean, I brought my car in today. It's, if you pay cash, it's this. If you don't pay cash, it's that. You know what that means. You don't want to pay taxes. Nobody wants to pay taxes. Remember Crazy Eddie? His brother who owned the store. I don't know if you remember Crazy Eddie. They had the biggest record store on Park Row in the city. And him and his brother, and they had that ad, you can't believe our prices. They're crazy. The prices are so low, can't be beat. You know why they were so low? I just found out he did time because they didn't pay their taxes. They were able to undercut, other businesses. So that's like our national pastime, is don't pay your taxes. So when people talk about not having the IRS, I think the IRS serves a purpose. It at least makes you pay some of your taxes, or we catch some of that. I know it's not the and thinking you want to say. But I think
Jules,
it's
do you know what the
necessary.
effective tax rate before the invention of the IRS was?
It was zero, wasn't it?
Zero. So, problem, cause, solution. We are our own problem. We've created a taxation system that only funds 5 out of 7 trillion a year in spending. We are taxing ourselves too much already as is, and we are spending way more than we can sustain.
Hold up, yo. I need to mod somebody, so I want to do this, but I already got it. So, since I'm on that, on the stress it.
Mod Jules is a former federal officer of the Treasury Department.
Yeah,
I can't tell sarcasm.
Just where this conversation is rapidly coming to a close anyways, but I asked Grog how much was dispersed in the PPP loan program. It's close to 100 or close to $1 trillion, and they estimate 64 billion of that is fraud, and they've only recouped about 3 billion.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So $60 billion got skimmed by the government because they decided to create a new loan package. $60 billion. Boop, bye.
Yeah, well,
So,
I mean, not paying your taxes is one thing. I told you I was an international examiner in financial service. I caught huge sums of money in the biggest financial service area, and it was not illegal. They were just arming with the code, disciplining the militia corporations. I can't go into it in detail. I would. I could. But I've seen that. It was a strike. They had to pay a lot back. But they made the law. They have to use I just said, Corey, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask John, so you're running as your candidate for Congress. I mean, I think it's interesting, though. One of the things that to me is, the thing I never understand about that. That's talking, it's not racism, believe it or not. I mean, in general,
Necro, your problem is framing people as MAGA is some kind of all or nothing position statement. I wear this red hat mostly because I want people to get upset just by me wearing it. I'm not some MAGA. I'm a Republican American who believes in fiscal prudence and not borrowing and spending. That doesn't make me MAGA. Finish your question.
Yeah, so my question is the thing that I know that they all share in common is the fact that they think that, Trump, a billionaire, a guy who thinks his life is worth because he only got $1 million loan from his father, that he understands what they're going through in life, and his largest donors were people like Elon Musk, who has more wealth than, maybe, definitely well beyond 1 billion lifetimes. But that's really the thing about MAGA that to me it's been difficult for me to relate to is how they can trust on a guy, how they can ever trust a billionaire to have their best interests.
So hold it. So you're saying we should never vote for a guy like Mandani, whose parents have a compound in Uganda, on half of Uganda, have billions and billions of dollars. That you won't object to, right? That's okay.
When did Mandani come into discussion?
Well, you're talking about
Wait, Jules.
Trump.
Jules, let's ask young Necro here a very simple question that solves what you're asking. Necro, how do we lower the annual deficit and how do we lower the national debt?
Yes, that's the ultimate question.
Well, I'm not a person. I mean, I think this is something
You either raise revenue or you cut spending. Which one's it going to be?
So, I think the Republican Party, even Donald Trump, has no solution to lowering debt. So I don't think this is an issue that is, that you can frame as one side is guilty of all of them. In fact, the Democrats.
Tell Tell me what Biden's solution was.
The Democrats at least don't lie about the fact that they will vote. That they will vote.
They don't lie.
They don't lie. They don't lie.
About lowering the debt, yes, they don't.
They don't talk about lowering the debt, Necro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a matter of fact. The Republicans
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They talk about raising the debt. You know, by the way, I think it's a bipartisan. Well, I think it's a bipartisan fucking. Okay, I agree with part of what you're saying, but the Democrats, they spend money like this. You see that list of shit that Doge caught, that they're spending money for Ugandan transsexual classes. It's just so ridiculous. But Congressman, I agree with you. It's taxes won't do anything. I believe in lowering the taxes, lowering the debt, and you're right.
I believe in lowering income taxes for everybody making less than $1 million. I think that those people deserve a break. I think that I'm not in favor. In general, I'm not in favor of income taxes, mostly because it affects people who are working the greatest usually. The richest people in the country, meanwhile, most of their taxes are done from stock, which tend to be much lower.
Necro.
The rich pay most of the taxes. Rich pay almost all the taxes in this country.
Necro, let me ask you a question.
And they steal from the poor.
Necro, let me ask you a question.
They steal from the poor. They steal from the poor. You gotta lose that mentality.
Necro.
They don't steal from it.
Yeah, they want to steal from the poor. They want to take
You can't steal from the poor. Have nothing. How do you steal from the poor?
They want to take away Social Security. They want to take away Medicare.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Necro, let me ask you a question, Necro. What's more important, raising the taxes on the rich or cutting the spending?
I think that, cutting useless spending, but on spending that's, efficient, I think that it's good. But yeah, getting rid of wasteful spending like all the endless wars, I think that's better.
Hey, Necro, the poor pay no taxes. Almost half the households in this country pay no taxes, income taxes. You know that.
Well, then, what we should do is get rid of the burdensome compliance for the bottom 50% who don't pay anything anyways, but yet they still got to pay $150 to file annually, even though they get a. Guess what happens though, Jules? They get a tax rebate.
You have that, you get a rebate. Companies which makes profit on people dying.
So actually, the IRS for the bottom 50% is actually just an annual stimulus check.
That's right, exactly. Necro, do you believe in capitalism?
Do I sound like a socialist to you?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing I never understand is that to me is the idea that simply is that you are against, people, a select few make more money having so much power that means that you hate, you hate having a system of wealth, essentially. Because believe it or not, my views are actually that of Thomas Jefferson, which, is particularly hated corporatism, said that, which is essentially what I am, basically, is that.
What would Thomas Jefferson say then, today, right now, if he witnessed what was happening with a $2 trillion annual deficit and a $37 trillion national debt?
He would blame a lot of the corporations, because they were the ones who, in the reason why we invaded Iraq, that was all about, oil, was why we invaded Iraq. So, that's why I asked in the chat, did socialism cause the wars? Because the invasion of Iraq, you can't really blame socialism for that.
I blame socialism for being a sucky economic society. I'm a capitalist.
Okay.
I think this country is a capitalist country. We've done so much positive for the world, and we will continue to do so much positive for the world. But what stops it is other countries that have socialist governments that they have no freedom. They have, you can go to medical school. Where are you going to go? To medical school in Israel, medical school in the United States. There's very few communist, socialist medical schools. Run by candidate Congressman. The freedom to do what you have to do. Congressman of the 16th. Negro, where do you live, Negro? What country? No, you sound like you're American.
Okay, that's fair. I was like, which person from another country would be quoting Thomas Jefferson to you?
No, you sound like an American. So you tell me what country, what form of government do you think is more fair to more people? The poor people in America make a fortune. So more fair to more people. Tell me a country you think economical is more fair to more people.
The United States.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of countries that have better social safety nets than the United States. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into that. You have, such as immigration. They have more stricter immigration, which is something I agree should be.
No. I said economically. You like socialism, yet you're in the United States. What socialist country provides more and better equality opportunity to their people than America? What country? Pick a country. Pick a commie country.
Yeah, so for example, Norway, they have a system in which, even prisoners, convicted murderers, have a better shot at life when they get out of prison.
So I asked you to pick a country in the world, and the first country, the only country you picked, was a country that gives its prisoners certain rights.
Yeah, you have people who are the lowest in society, they get better opportunity when they leave prison.
Oh my God, that's the best you could do.
Wait, Jules, before you go any further, I want to alert you to the fact that Necro is a racist and he believes that Israel is an apartheid genocidal country.
It's his belief.
All right, that one's for you, Rich.
I'm against that, of course, you know that.
FYI, Necro, I had people texting me into the show to tell you that.
Okay. And they probably very likely think that, Netanyahu's base, they probably think that, Sullivan's Rock. I mean,
you don't think settlement developments are a positive thing for people? I mean, living in modern day housing with security, that doesn't sound like a good thing to you?
For the people who are inhabitants in the land.
No, not Jews. And all the Arab countries.
I like Jew. Essentially, if you speak out against war crimes, then that makes you an anti-Semite.
Don't speak out against war crimes. Or Hamas did.
It's something that I would like to see, the people like Netanyahu do, but he's, of course,
Necro
is exactly what to ask.
Under a hospital, a war crime. Is storing weapons under a mosque a war crime? Is using human kids as shields a war crime?
Yeah.
I have a question. Can we get back to the interrogation of what country would be best? Well, which country did you say you would prefer, Necro?
He said Norway.
Yeah, which one is better?
I'm going to take a photo of Mojo's PTR. It's so ridiculous.
I have a question for you. What do you think the average income is in Norway in comparison to the United States?
I don't know.
Average income. It's the average income is $60,300 in Norway. Average income in the United States is $77,500. So more than $17,000 more And then when you adjust for taxation, any idea of the purchasing power that you have after taxes?
I would have to look into that.
Yeah, so my question is like, how are you when you're saying that something is better than another country? What what are you basing it on?
Yeah, so specifically the question was about which one is better for its poorest people, and I think that it's clear, and that's why I gave the example is that prisoners in Norway have better opportunity, convicted murderers, people who like everybody thinks shouldn't have any chance of opportunity.
But why would your standard of measuring the success or the judiciousness of a country be based on the way that murderers fare?
Because they're just like people who are the lowest of society.
They're the people that killed people.
Yeah, so I mean they're the people you would expect to get the worst, and yet they seem to get pretty good opportunity in Norway.
Nicker, I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Well, he supports of us. So.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Norway. They have a minimum income guarantee, right? So you probably like that.
I mean, it does sound appealing, but I haven't looked into it. I mean, like I said, I put up earlier that there are a lot of dynamics of Norway that we don't have in the United States. Like, for example, having a strict immigration policy, which is something I think in America should have a stricter immigration policy.
Why do you think Norway, despite the fact that they don't have like high income earners, on average, they earn less than us. Why do you think they're able to afford things like free healthcare, education, childcare? That many of the people either own property or they receive housing assistance from the government. Why do you think that is? Like, what do you think is a factor that allows for a country like Norway to be able to budget accordingly to be able to make those decisions? What do you think is the leading reason why they can do that?
Yeah, so they do have better education. They also are better in general, overall, they have much better, in general.
You really want to get them, huh, Rich?
Okay, but you realize why they can afford these things, right? You're not answering that. Why can they afford those things?
Well,
come on.
I honestly don't know what you're trying to get at.
Well, it's an obvious thing because a lot of these countries that have these socialist economic systems that are providing things that you think are really bitching to have, they only can have those things because they don't spend money on their own military. In fact, they live under the security umbrella of NATO, more specifically the security umbrella of the United States. So if you're going to have a grievance about anything, the reason why they have those things is because U.S. taxpayers pay for the security assurances, so Norway can spend their money on those things.
Yeah, that's something I mean is also a fair point. It's one of the things I think Trump was right about these nations, essentially them the United States paying much more into their military than other countries. Basically, that it's not like fair that they can expect us to do it. To do everything.
Only District 16.
So again, now that you break that down, like imagine if we were to just say, hey, no more security assurance, you got to fund your own military. Some of those services would disappear. Would you still want to be in Norway?
I mean, like I said, I wasn't saying that I didn't say specifically that I wanted to be in Norway as a specific issue in Norway, but I mean, overall, I'm not certain right now whether I would move to Norway. Looking right
Russia then, and you wouldn't like that, right?
No, it wouldn't be something I would like. So,
Jules,
anyways,
there's a very Necro. Hold on, Jules. There's a very easy way to settle the matter with Necro. You just ask him, Necro, if you were king of the world, what would you do? What would your priorities be for your people?
Education.
Negro, I like it.
Ending crime.
How would you do that?
Well, I mean, am I a politician now?
Well, yeah, you're king of the world, and you end crime. What would you do to criminals?
I mean, I would impose harsh sentences on hard crime. I would
but then treat them nice in prisons, right? That's what you say.
I mean, I would disconnect them from if they're a danger to society. I would keep them restrained to keep them from being able to hurt other people. If that means
in New York recently, in the last week, some guy stabbed a few people to death, and he had 47 arrests. Not all were violent crimes, some were jumping turnstiles, but there were plenty of violent crimes within the 47 arrests. Do you think that person should be allowed on the streets?
Sorry, what did he do again?
He stabbed 2 people to death, and he had 47 previous arrests, some violent crimes. Should that person be on the streets?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not looking at the case, I can't really make a judgment about their mental health, but just like hearing them, I don't think that they should be allowed.
Well, you're right. He had mental health issues, probably drug addiction too. But Necro, I'll vote for you for mayor of New York with your communist beliefs if you have strict prison sentences for all these people. I mean, we have so much crowd running around.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I would agree is, like, in states like California, they've capped at the amount of time that you have to remain on the sex offender registry. I think that's wrong. I think that if you rape a child, then you should always have to live with that.
I knew Epstein would come into the picture soon. Alright, I guess,
and that's the thing, like, to me, is like, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Trump is losing all of his, based on this issue, because they base their entire, it baffled me that they would choose Trump when they talked about all this thing with Epstein, but when Trump is probably one of the most associated people with Epstein, the only other person I can put who has a higher profile would be Bill Clinton. Well, I just said the only person who I can think of would be Bill Clinton. So.
He's not even a close second. He had a fight with Epstein a long time ago, and you and all the Trump derangement syndrome people are screaming for the Epstein tapes. They want videos of Trump getting a blowjob by a little girl. I know it would give you a high like you never had in your life. Yeah, let's admit it. It would make you thrilled. Well, it would thrill you. What is all these
Americans?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I would say.
Why is it going time with the American people?
I didn't say right or wrong. I could say right or wrong. You want the Epstein tapes out because you're looking to get Trump. If they have a video of Trump with a little girl, my God, you guys will go be in ecstasy, right? It'll be the best thing in the world because you hate Trump.
Deserve the truth.
Right.
Jules, he's a necrophiliac. He's not a pedophile. Necro would prefer to see Trump with a dead carcass in the middle of a graveyard. That was what gets Necro's feather tickled.
Now you're going to make him sleep really happy. happy tonight, but it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know.
You know, try to use your words, Necro. I mean, you're a necrophiliac, right?
Yeah, maybe. Do you have pedophiles in Norway?
Necro, you know, your response to what you would do for your people if you were king, it's not, you know, a really great leadership position. I'm just so confused. Like, are you, you know, what's it called?
You disagree with people being educated. You disagree with crime. You know,
there's no universities in America. Universities in America are standards for the world. It was until they had to pick to rise. Maybe now you like it even better. But our colleges, they come from China, they come from Russia, they come from every part of the world to go to university in America. So don't tell me how
you know, I find it really interesting that MAGA seems to complain that, like, you know, what the swift judgments that are made about, you know, racism, but that is what they are doing by associating with communism, with, you know, everything that Democrats do. You know, that's what's assumed about me. You know, it never gets old in the double standard.
Do you really think there's something called MAGA, or is it really just not the Republican Party, Dr. Necro?
I think MAGA extends beyond the Republican Party. I think it's one of the reasons why Trump got independent support was because, you know, people are just really sick of the establishment.
You know what MAGA stands for, right?
Well, I understand people, you know, it's a populist. Yeah, I understand it's a populist movement that's about, you know, trying to
America.
Yeah,
make
America
America great.
That wants to put America first, essentially. I get it. You know,
right.
One of the reasons why
first and great again. That's
it's one of the reasons why I think why the Democrats are losing voters is because of the fact that, you know,
Okay, I'm going to end this live stream in a little bit. I'm going to go exercise.
So essentially, America First is automatically more appealing to, you know, the average person. You know, like, that's why to me, my
quick chat update for you, Necro. Rich says that you sound like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, so I would like to see Rudy Giuliani be as critical as I am of Trump.
I don't think he sounds like.
Yeah, I'm a little confused, Rich. Why do you think he sounds like Rudy Giuliani?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe because you're a young man, but you sound like an old man.
I've heard people say that I sound like Craig T. Nelson. That's something I do understand.
Necro, let me ask you a final question. When was the last time you did 10 pull-ups?
I actually just did it yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's great news.
Are you in college, Necro?
Yes.
I don't want to. You don't want to tell me what state you live in.
I live on the East Coast.
On the East Coast.
Yes.
Have you given up dating trannies?
No, come on. Did you? I know you support Hamas. Did you march with the? You know what?
I don't support Hamas.
You don't support Israel.
I support Israel's right to, to have its own state and defend its own people. I am not okay with war crimes.
War crimes?
Yeah.
Hamas committed the war crimes.
Yeah. So Israel has the right to do 10 times the damage that was committed on October 7th.
Tenfold?
What's the amount you're allowed? Is there an amount you're allowed? I mean,
proportionate, Jules. Proportionate warfare. You kill us. You kill 2,000 of ours. We only kill 2,000 of yours. Proportional war.
Yeah. I mean, are you critical of the state of Israel? The fact that they have held 7,000 people in detention and were forced through due process. I mean, probably was something
great question. My position on that is that Israel should hold those people. They should kill them. The Hamas terrorists, and they use for exchange of hostages. So they dribble out 2 hostages and get 1,000 soldiers back to kill more Jews. That's my position. Yes, they should be killed. Because look at the hostages.
So then why should Hamas respect the state of Israel when Israel kills Palestinians?
They don't.
You're saying they should respect the state of Israel when Israel kills.
No, I'm not saying they should respect. I'm not saying
you don't want them to kill Israelis, and yet you're justifying why Israel should have the right to kill Palestinians who have not been convicted of a crime.
Right, because Israel, they're killing Israelis that haven't been convicted of crime. They went to a music concert, a rock concert. That was no crime. The existence of Israel is a crime to them. And the ones that are in prison did commit crimes, and that's how they got in prison. There are plenty of Palestinians that work in Israel before the war. Israel opened up the gates, let them work in Israel. There are plenty of Palestinians or Muslims that live in Israel have rights in the Knesset. Israel's the most democratic country in the Mideast. Israel exists mainly because there used to be a Jewish community in Syria. Not anymore. There used to be a Jewish community in Iran and Iraq and all over the Mideast. Not anymore. And when I say Jews, I mean Jews and Christians. They're dwindling down to nothing. And only one country takes people of all races, all religions, all colors, all sexuality, and that's Israel.
Except for that Palestinian, they kill them.
No, they don't kill Palestinians. They kill Hamas soldiers.
12,000 children have been killed lying at Israel's feet ever since October 7th.
They've been used as human shields by the
it's their fault.
Yes.
It's not their fault. If you got hit by the police officer, you could have dodged, him getting his baton.
Yeah, yes, it's their fault. It's their fault.
Oh my gosh.
My gosh. Who attacked who on October 7th? Whatever. Who attacked who? I don't know.
October 7th.
The people committed crimes.
Yeah, but who created the crisis in Palestine? Who shuts off their electricity?
Israel left Palestine. Remember, there was a time when Israel had settlements in Palestine. Israelis had settlements in Palestine. They left. The soldiers of Israel dragged those people who had the right and owned property in Palestine, and they took them out of Israel. It was to see Israel wanted peace. You know the expression, that girl, if Israel dropped all their weapons, they'd be mutilated.
In your view,
if Hamas dropped all their weapons, they'd have a state.
To you, a Palestinian has zero value. Palestinian child.
No.
Everybody should.
No, Hamas is killing them. Is it a war crime to use human children as shields? Is that a war crime
to kill children? Period.
Not by accident. That's if you stay in a populated area in schools. Is it a war crime to put weapons on the schools, on the mosques, on the hospitals? Yes. And that's what they did. They built tunnels. They didn't want a prosperous
nation. Have you spoken against the IDF, for how many universities have leveled to the ground?
The only thing I have against the IDF is they put themselves in danger of not firing because it's populated areas.
Yeah,
they put themselves in danger. I know they try not to kill children, yes. And you tell me what country, what war ever broke out where one side has to feed the other side? You tell me what war ever broke out.
We're in existence. Means to win a war.
We fed the Germans, we fed the defend Japan during World War II? Come on.
Yeah, that's totally what it is. Israel is a complete, is completely.
Necro, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to Tel Aviv or Jerusalem?
Yeah, so have you ever been to Iran?
I'm asking you. I've been a couple times. I'm just asking you. Have you
I
been?
think your question is, the way you feel.
Did you ever go to Israel? Did you ever go to Israel, Necro?
Yeah, I'm not answering your question.
Well, because you can't. You can't say yes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what.
Do I have a choice to answer it? Whether I want to answer it?
You don't have to answer. How about this question? Okay. If I had 3 tickets, round trip tickets, one was to Israel, you could take that. One was to Syria, and one was to Iran. Which one would you take? You have to pick one.
Yeah, it depends. If I'm Palestinian, would I be okay?
And if you are heterosexual, it's 2 tickets each for you and your girlfriend to go visit.
Yeah, like I said, if I was Palestinian, the answer would not be.
No, you're not the Palestinian. You're you. You're you. I'm giving you 2 tickets. Whatever you are. You have a girlfriend or wife or whatever, probably girlfriend or boyfriend. It doesn't make a difference to me. I'm giving you 2 tickets to go to either.
It doesn't matter to me what you are, Necro.